Hey friends, it's Robin. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my June TBR. Not only are these my favorite videos to film every single month, but I think June is my favorite month of the entire year. I love summer. Summer is like, it's when I thrive. And I always celebrate the summer solstice with a bunch of yoga events and stuff like that. So I look forward to this time of year. And on top of that, it is Pride Month. So this month we are going to be reading almost exclusively queer books. There are probably going to be a handful of exceptions throughout the month, just because I do have some arcs and things like that. But we're going to try to stick to queer books for the entire month of June. I am going to try and get a good mix of different representations in those books, both sapphic and Achillean and gender and all of the things that are happening. The Queer Lit Readathon is happening for the entire month of June. If you haven't heard of the Queer Lit Readathon, I'm going to pop up their little bingo board right here. But they have a full month readathon that happens every single June. And then I think twice a year they do a weekend or like short little instance of the Queer Lit Readathon. So this is happening for the entire month of June. I'm not necessarily participating in this, but like I said, I am reading queer books for the entire month. Also this month, over on Riley's Patreon, she is doing I think it's called End of the Rainbow readathon, where it is this little Candyland TBR game. And I'm going to kind of loosely participate throughout the month in this as well. I do have one vlog that is happening this month. It is my sequel to the Moms vlog that I did in May. We're doing dad books this month. I have a couple of late arcs that I didn't get to in May, because if you watched my monthly reset, you saw that I only read one arc in the entire month of May. So that was a big epic fail. I do have just a couple of arcs for the month of June, and then I do have some arcs that are like far out. They're in September, but they are both queer books that I kind of want to read this month, so we'll see. But the majority of this is open series that I have, or new series that I want to start, or books that have been sitting on my KU wish list. If you watched my video on how I organize my Kindle Unlimited, I have a privated like wish list where I specifically save KU books that I want to get to. I do have my TBR jar here, which we are going to do just like in all the other months. There are lots of extra prompts in here. So what I ended up doing was going through and writing out some extra prompts. So all the ones that are in black pen, that prompt has to be fulfilled by a queer book. The other ones I don't necessarily have to, but like I said, I'm going to try. So I think we're going to start at 12 books. Hopefully June goes well. So let's just get right into it and pick our first prompt. So prompt number 1, let's go with this one. This one is to read a Kindle Unlimited book. This one does not have to be queer, but for this one, I think I'm going to go with one of the open series. This is one of the series that I have been reading at least one book per month, and I'm going to go with Seraph by Lily Mayne. This is a post-apocalyptic monster romance, and we are getting the romance for 2 characters that we have known for quite a few books at this point. We're having Lily, who we've known since book 3, and Seraph, who we met in book 4, I believe. Seraph is this monster that has been drugged repeatedly, and they're trying to figure out whether or not they can save him and like wean him off the drugs. And after this, I only have one more book in the series that is already released, and then a couple of little novellas that I didn't know about. So I'm getting really close to catching up with the series, and it's kind of sad. Prop number 2 is this one. And this one is to read a sports romance, and this one does have to be queer. For this one, I think I'm going to go with Puck Drills and Quick Thrills by Eden Finley and Saxon James. This is the final book in the CU hockey series, and I'm obsessed with this series. I would have read this one in May, but I used all my Hoopla credits, and then Scribd blocked me from the rest of the books by these authors because apparently I listened to too many of them, so I had to wait. So we had to put a pause, but I'm ready. I'm ready to get back into it. This is a romance series surrounding all of these hockey players. This one is following the assistant coach, who I actually know about because I read the Puck Boy series. And we get his best friend's romance, but we're getting his romance in this one. I'm very excited about it. I don't know who the love interest is. I love this family a lot. I really enjoyed the series. So we're gonna read that one. Prompt number 3. Let's pick this one. And this is to read a new release. Again, that one didn't have to be queer, but I think the one I'm gonna go with is What We Broke by Marley Valentine, which is actually coming out the day that this video goes up. So if you're watching this, it is actually already out. All I know about this one is that it is a marriage in crisis, which I do. I love a good marriage in crisis book. That's all I know about it. Caitlin from the Love Librarian got an arc of this and she absolutely loved it, which makes me even more excited. Marley Valentine always does such a good job with her like really, really hard hitting but sweet and beautiful romances. And I am very excited for the angst and the hurt. Prompt number 4. Let's go with, I'm trying to not knock them all out. This jar is so full. A novella, and this one does have to be queer. So for a novella, I am gonna go with Being Hospitable by Mika James. This is a really, really short sapphic novella, and all I know about it is a best friend's sister's romance. But I heard about this, I'm pretty sure from Mina for Mina Reads, and I'm pretty sure she absolutely loves this book. Let's just go right on to prompt number 5. Let's pick this one. And this one is a book that matches my outfit, which is funny because oh, it's covered in hair. I am wearing my Ace shirt, so I'm gonna see if I can find an Ace romance on this list because that feels appropriate. So for this one, I am actually going to go with the next book in the Criminal Intention series. Not only does this have one of my favorite Ace characters of all time, but the cover is black and purple. So it feels very fitting for this. This is the second book in season 2. It is called In Sequence, and one of our main characters in here, Sanjay, is Ace. He is one of my favorite representations of an Ace main character ever. One, because he knows that he's Ace the entire time. This isn't something that he's like discovering, but the way that he describes it is probably the most accurate representation for me that I've ever read. And I love it. Like I said, this is the next book in this season. I can't really talk too much about the plot because it would be hella spoilery, but essentially we now have a new villain that we are following, and it is intense. The first book in this season was prompt number 6. Is this one, and this one is a wild card, so I can read any book that I want off of this list. I'm gonna get Mortal Follies by Alexis Hall on here because I am so insanely excited for this book. I believe that this is a sapphic romance, and I believe it is fantastical. I haven't read the synopsis for this. I know that this has a very low rating and people are hating it, but Sarah from Sarah Evermotion Books, they are both over on Instagram as well as here on YouTube. They messaged me about this book telling me that it gave them like massive Wisteria Society vibes, which is one of my favorite series ever. So I am ridiculously excited for this now, and I know that they gave it 5 stars. So I'm really, really hyped for this one, even though it does have a low rating on Goodreads. I don't care. It's Alexis Hall. I will literally read anything that he writes. Prompt number 7. This one. This one is Rainbow. So I just have a color wheel here. I'm just going to come over, spin it. And we got silver or gray. So, oh wow, my color balance just went wild. So I am going to try and fix my white balance here and find a gray or silver book. So I will be right back. Okay, so for gray, I am actually going to go with Sanctuary by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This has like the smoke effect is very like gray silvery to me. So that's what we're going to go with because I really want to read this. This is the second book in the Beards and Bondage series. I read Haven last month and I really want to continue it because I have heard that this has one of my favorite things in it, and that is a submissive hero. And I'm pretty sure this has a submissive hero in it, and I really want to read it. I don't know if this book itself is queer, but I know the next book is, and this is written by a non-binary author. So it feels like it still fits for the month of June, but I actually don't know who this follows or if we've met these characters or how this is tied together or even what the synopsis is. Prompt number 8. Oh, that one just hopped right out. This is a book that fits the season, so a summary book. I am gonna go with Best Men by Sydney Carter. Something about the water and the sunset thing. This gives me huge summer vibes, So we're gonna go with this one. This is an romance written by a queer male author. I'm like 99% sure. Yes. This is following our two main characters. I think one of them is the brother of the groom and the other one is the best friend of the bride. And they are the best men at this wedding and they have a romance. I have been meaning to read it for months now. I think it's been on like 3 TBRs, so it needs to happen. I do have an audiobook of that as well from Penguin Random House Audio, so I don't know how I'm going to read it. If I read this book physically, it would be my first physical book that I've read all year. Prompt number 9, this one. And this is to read a book that either features or is written by a trans, NB, or genderqueer author. So for this one, I think I'm going to go with Vicious Devotion by Aveda Weiss. This is written by a non-binary author. This is the last Aveda Weiss, like unread Aveda Weiss book that I have. I believe this is an MMFF romance, if I'm remembering correctly. Not only is it written by a non-binary author, it's super, super queer, and I really want to read it. Like I said, if I finish this book, I have read every single released Aveda Weiss book, which just makes me feel so freaking accomplished. Prompt number 10 is trying to not knock them all out. I want this one. I want this one. This one is to read an ebook, which is, you know, like my entire TBR. For this one, I think I'm gonna go with Nevermind by, I'm totally blanking on the author's name, Bryce Oakley maybe, but this is a sapphic romance. I want to say that it is following a heroine who is a professional soccer player, so it might also be a sports romance. I am frantically trying to read a couple more queer books to round out my Queer Rex video that is coming next week, and this is one of those. So I really want to get to this one. So prompt number 11, this one. This is to read a big book. I know what I'm reading for this, which is Pucking Around by Emily Rath, because this book is a behemoth. It is, I swear to God, this book's like 700 pages long. I do have to read the little novella before this because Steph from Novelty Corner told me to read the novella first, and I am a rule follower of the series. It needs to be read in order. So I need to read the novella first. But this book is massive, and it is a hockey romance. Hopefully this is a queer book, because otherwise I just ruined my entire TBR with that. And then maybe our last prompt. I can't believe I didn't pick another. There's 2 of them in here now. Let's go with this one. And this is an author backlist book, and I'm going to add Encore by Eden Finley on here. This is the last book in the Fandom series, which is kind of running parallel to the CU hockey series. And this one is following 5 main characters in a boy band that we met in the Fake Boyfriend series. They're all very intertwined. We're following the band member who is also an actor, and I believe he is falling in love with his co-star. And I believe that the movie that he is in with this co-star is a queer romance. So that is going to be it for this TBR. That was a really quick and simple TBR. I feel like I'm being lulled into a full sense of security, so that means that I'm probably going to completely fail at this month's TBR. Like, that's the only explanation. Let me know what book you are most excited to read, or what book you're most excited to see me read this month, or if you have any recommendations for queer books that I should add to my TBR. Please let me know. I'm always looking for new books. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.